Starting all the way back in 1985 and continuing to this very day, the Super Mario Bros. Series is one of the highest-selling video game franchises in history, and for good reason. But with every amazing Mario game, there's some major flaws. Today I present to you the most annoying thing in every Mario game. Quick note before you comment, this is every mainline Mario Bros. Game. No arcade games, no Mario Karts, no Mario sports games, or ports. However, if you'd like to see any of that, leave a comment and I'll look into it for another video. Also, while you're there, if you want to support the channel, like the video. Thanks. Being the first game in the series, Super Mario Bros. Obviously isn't perfect, and depending on who you ask, this game hasn't aged too well. However, I personally still love this one. But the most annoying part about it is a toss-up between the controls, not being able to go backwards, and the damn Hammer Bros. Firstly, the controls for the time were great, I'm sure, but nowadays they feel a bit slippery and not as good as newer titles. For the screen not being able to go backwards, it isn't the end of the world, just a bit of a pain sometimes. And my personal least favorite thing about the original Mario Bros., the Hammer Brothers. I hate these guys. Unless you've got the tricky timing nailed down, you're most likely going to take damage when running past them.
This game sucks.
Next up is everyone's favorite Mario game, The Lost Levels, aka Super Mario Bros. 2. The game originally never released anywhere outside of Japan and was replaced by Doki Doki Panic in the West. It is required by law for every gaming channel to mention that fact at some point, so there you go. The most annoying part about this game is, well, the fact that it exists. But if I had to narrow it down to a single thing, I'd say the level design. The game contains plenty of beginners' traps, unfair difficulty spikes, and just awful level design among other things. Let's move on to an actually good game now. Now for the Western version of Mario Bros. 2, the oddball of the Mario franchise, which isn't a bad thing. I personally love this game. As for annoying things, the first thing that comes to mind is Phanto. He's pretty obnoxious. Another contender for most annoying thing here is the slot machine. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool idea, but the fact this is the only way to get extra lives in this version is pretty lame. Apart from those two things and the final boss being pathetically easy, there isn't too many annoying things here. Way to go, Mario 2. Mario Bros. 3. One of the best in the series for sure, but like everything else, it isn't perfect. Notably, there's no save feature. The controls are a little slippery. The airship levels are pretty brutal, and you can't replay a level after you've beaten it, which is a shame. Now, if I had to narrow it down to the single most annoying thing, I'd say the airship levels. These things are really tough for a Mario game. However, you can just stockpile power-ups beforehand. I know this section is pretty short, but what can I say? Mario Bros. 3 is one of the GOATs. Super Mario Land is up next, the first portable Mario game with one of the best soundtracks in the franchise. Now, I understand that this game was a big deal at the time due to its portability, but it's very primitive nowadays. If I had to narrow down the most annoying aspects, I'd have to go with how short the game is. The controls are pretty clunky. Mario feels very heavy, and you fall very fast for some reason, as opposed to how floaty and slick Mario usually controls. The second installment in the Mario Land series, and comparing this to the first game, is like night and day. Honestly, this one is better in every way, and it's not even close. Choosing the most annoying thing in this game is surprisingly tough. The carrot power-up is very overpowered, you can just fly forever. But depending on how you look at it, that might be more of a positive than a negative feature. It does ruin basically every boss fight in the game, though. Honestly, this game does a lot right, and it's still great and 100% worth playing today. Just get an analog pocket. Up next is Super Mario World, a lot of people's favorite Mario game, including me. Mario World is the definition of classic, but like every other game, it isn't perfect. For a start, a lot of people prefer the controls of Mario Bros. 3 to this. Sometimes it feels like you slip and slide all over the place. They also removed a lot of power-ups from the previous games too, like the frog suit and P-Wing. The boss fights, except for the final Bowser fight, which I quite enjoy, are pathetically easy. The random rainbow shells are also pretty annoying. not to mention the tubular level. As incredible as this game is, there are certainly some annoying bits here.
It's me, Mario!
Mario's first 3D game is up next. With Mario 64, the biggest and most obvious annoying thing in this game is the camera controls. But hey, at least they're not as bad as the DS version. Some other things that get on players' nerves are the fact there's no classic power-ups in this game, like the mushroom and fire flower. Only being able to exit a level when Mario is stood still is also a bit of a pain. Like, it makes sense because you could just exit the level instead of falling off the level, but still. Also, you can't ride Yoshi. He just jumps off the roof, which is a shame. And finally, the single most annoying thing in any Mario game ever. That godforsaken monkey that steals your hat in Tall, Tall Mountain. One of the more polarizing Mario games next, that being Mario Sunshine. I personally love this game. The movement and graphics are great, but this isn't the greatest things about every Mario game. This is the most annoying things. And speaking of annoying things, the damn blue coins. Why are there so many? You can't skip cutscenes either, which is fine on your first playthrough, but tedious every other time you play. They also removed some of the movement options from Mario 64, like the long jump. The King Boo boss fight can take ages to beat too because it's literally 100% random. And the biggest crime Mario Sunshine committed. There's no green Yoshi. Why is there no green Yoshi? 0 out of 10, game ruined. New Super Mario Bros. DS was the beginning of a very boring period of time for the Mario franchise, so please forgive me if I keep repeating that all these games are the exact same, because it's the truth. For a start, you use the Mega Mushroom like 3 times in the entire game, and most of the levels don't even work with Big Mario. For being on the box, it's a very underused power-up. Also, the small amount of challenge in the older Mario games is completely lost here, seeing as you're given about 1,000,000 one-ups in every level. Not even Hammer Bros are scary anymore, which, now that I think about it, is a pretty good thing. All the minigames here are basically just stolen from Mario 64 DS. There's also quite a few stupid star coins in this game. All in all, this game is probably the best new Super Mario Bros. Game, but that isn't saying much. Up next is the most critically acclaimed Mario game of all time, Super Mario Galaxy. Being the first Mario game on the Wii, of course there's a decent amount of motion controls, which is fine by me, but the fact they're mandatory is pretty annoying. At least this was fixed in the Switch compilation. The final star in the game requires you to beat the entire game all over again as Luigi, for 1 single star. Speaking of stars, Grand Stars seem like some big awesome reward that'd be worth more than a regular star, but they aren't. And why are there so many filler stars? I swear like 4 or 5 stars are just chasing bunnies around. This game also introduced the spring power-up, so take that as you will. And the biggest crime of all, you can't skip the credits. Game ruined. Honestly, this is another short entry. Because Mario Galaxy is such a great game, there really isn't too many annoying things here, just go play this one. That's the end of part 1. Tune in next time for the remaining 12 Mario games. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like it and subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when part 2 comes out. And if it's already out by the time you're watching this, check the pinned comment. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day.